guys, I did not really want to talk about this, but I guess something in my mind keeps pushing me to do so. So here it goes. Today's discussion is primarily going to be about the world famous British boy band One Direction. Some of you may be asking why I have chosen to suddenly dive into the pop side of music in this channel when I consider this channel to be a rock centered one, and I do not blame you. I mean, how shocked would you be if a band like Slayer suddenly chose to make music that is similar to Backstreet Boys? You may be confused right now, but I don't think this discussion should bring you down, because I think it's going to be an informative and maybe even fun one. So to all of you rockers who are watching this video, please don't click away to go back to your compilation videos of Gerard Way moaning while singing Destroy Alive, and try to enjoy my discussion on my big appreciation for British stuff, and how a boy band like One Direction is actually a part of it. So personally, I am in love with a lot of British stuff. In the modern scene, I believe that they make a lot of art really awesome and delicious for consumption. I love watching Mr. Bean and anything else that involves Rowan Atkinson's genius. I watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse recently, and my favorite Spider-Man variant is Spider-Punk. I enjoy watching the stand-up comedy sets of Bill Bailey, wherein he showcases comedic genius in writing jokes, especially the ones related to music. I very much love the inspiring work of Gordon Ramsay in the culinary scene, especially when it's actually in the UK rather than America. I am pretty much obsessed with the Harry Potter movies, and such has made me consider Emma Watson as one of my favorite actresses of all time. Plus, I genuinely enjoy watching the game show 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, wherein Jimmy Carr, Sean Locke, and the other guests really make me laugh when I feel down in the dumps. Those are just some of the British things that I truly enjoy, and I haven't even mentioned the ultimately great music part of it. If there is one thing about the British that I really love above all, it's the music scene. There are so many artists in the British music scene that I just adore with all my heart, and I believe that it would be a crime if you just didn't. You've got Queen, Blur, The Rolling Stones, Sex Pistols, Iron Maiden, The Kinks, Pink Floyd, The Clash, Deep Purple, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Radiohead, Kian, Slowdive, The Jesus and Mary Chain, Dire Straits, My Bloody Valentine, Cream, and the greatest band of all time, the Beatles. There are still a lot of artists that have not been mentioned, hence why British music is to be adored all the way. Those bands that I have mentioned are basically the stuff that I love listening to ever since I dove into the rock scene during my high school days. However, before my high school days, I was not really into the rock scene yet. Sure, I would listen to a little Simple Plan and Boys Like Girls, but the music genre that I was primarily into back then was more of a pop one. Back in my elementary days, I was just so obsessed with One Direction. Goodness, I would listen to One Direction nonstop when I was a kid. Their songs were just so catchy and fun to dance to. Me and my 4 friends would even pretend that we were One Direction. We would make lip sync videos and style our hair like the band members. I would always be Liam in our group. I can't believe I'm writing about all of this, but now you know how much of a One Direction fan I used to be. As you can tell, I've pretty much been a fan of British stuff ever since I was a kid, wherein everything pretty much really started with One Direction music, and I don't think that the burning love in my heart is going to fade away anytime soon for these British stuff. I love the music, the food, the movies, the TV shows, the celebrities, the various accents, and I don't think there is a part of me that dislikes the culture. Well, apart from a lot of historical events that are pretty controversial and terrible, I guess, but that's not what I want to talk about today. However, I do want to add a story that brings me back to third grade, pertaining to my first reaction upon hearing the common British accent for the first time. In one of the later episodes of the Nickelodeon sitcom iCarly, they had One Direction as the guest because they were huge at the time. Harry, Zayn, Louis, Niall, and Liam pretty much had to do some acting, and it was pretty funny, I guess, as they portrayed themselves in a more awkward way, not being used to American culture, if I remember correctly. And for the first time, I was basically hearing them speak, because I was only used to hearing them sing. When One Direction is singing, you can't really catch their British accents, and so it was a whole new experience for me when I heard them merely speaking. As a kid, I found their accents weird and unattractive. I was confused as to why they were speaking with such thick accents. This shouldn't offend any English person though who is watching this. Please note that I was a kid and I did not know better. Eventually though, I learned to love the accent. After One Direction music, Harry Potter movies, Thomas the Tank Engine, and all the other awesome British stuff slowly came into my life. Even though I'm really not into One Direction and pop music anymore, I genuinely thank 1D because they were basically the ones that made me love music in my childhood, plus open up the gates to my love for awesome British culture. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today's discussion. Aren't you glad that I didn't allow it to be merely about One Direction and pop music? That's something I really wouldn't do to you guys in this channel. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. I also hope that you're all having a good day, and I pray that it gets better if you aren't. This is the Stonish saying, goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
Whisper to me softly, let your troubles float away. Chain kong ti pang gon chain guy, ten guy. I remember as a child, a girl, a lamb, Papa smile. I feel